So, good morning students, myself Dr. Vishwas Grover, Assistant Professor, Mechanical Department of Mechanical Engineering, Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. Okay, so this is the first of all, this is the non-destructive testing. Okay, first of all we will talk about this non-destructive testing, introduction of this non-destructive testing. Okay, so this is the non-destructive testing. So first of all, the definition of this non-destructive testing. Definition of non-destructive testing is like the use of this invasive techniques to determine the integrity of a material, component or a structure. Okay, so this is the definition of this NDT. Okay, or quantitatively measure some characteristics of an object. Okay, so this is the definition of this NDT, and that is to inspect or measure without doing harm. Inspect or measure without doing harm. So this is the definition of this NDT. Then next is the 6 most common NDT methods. 6 most common NDT methods are like, first of all visual testing, dye penetrant testing, DPT, magnetic particle testings. These are some common NDT methods: magnetic particle testing, ultrasonic testing, okay, eddy current testing, ECT, and radiography testing. So this is the 6 most common NDT methods, that is the radiographic testing. Then destructive testings are like tensile test, bend test, fracture test, toughness test, Charpy or ISO test. Okay, this is your toughness test, Charpy or ISO test, hardness test. Okay, hardness test. So these are the destructive testing methods. Okay, now next is the comparison between the destructive testing and the non-destructive testings. Okay, destructive testings are like, tests are usually quantitative measurements of load or fracture. Okay, tests are usually quantitative measurements of load for fracture, significant distortion or damage or life to failure under given loading and environmental conditions. So this is the destructive testings. Then next is the non-destructive tests are usually quantitative. Tests are usually qualitative and rarely quantitative. They do not usually measure load for fracture or life to failure, even indirectly. So this is the non-destructive test. Okay, first of all is the destructive test, and next comparison is the non-destructive test to failure even indirectly. Okay, then destructive tests are like the correlation between most destructive test measurements and the material properties being measured, particularly under simulated service loading, is usually direct. Okay, so this is the destructive test. Then non-destructive tests are like skilled judgment and test or service experience are usually required to interpret test indications. Where the essential correlation has not been proven or where experience is limited. Observers may disagree in evaluating the significance of the test indications. Okay, so these are the destructive tests and non-destructive tests. Okay, then next are the tests can be made on only a fraction of production load to be used in service. Okay, they may have little value when the properties vary unpredictably from unit to unit. Okay, these are the destructive tests, and in comparison with destructive test, non-destructive tests can be made on every unit to be used in service if economically justified. Okay, then consequently they may they may be used even when great differences from unit to unit occur in production lots. Okay, so this is the non-destructive test. Okay, then tests often cannot be made on complete production parts. Okay, the tests are often limited to test the bars cut from the production parts or from the special material specimen. Okay, the tests are often limited to the, in this destructive test, these are limited to the test bars cut from the production bars or from the special material specimen process to simulate the properties of the part to be used in service. Okay, then next is the non-destructive test. Non-destructive tests are tests may be made on the entire production part or in all critical regions of it. Okay, or in all critical regions of it. Then consequently the evaluation applies to the part as a whole. Okay, consequently the evaluation applies to the part as a whole. Many critical sections of the part may be examined simultaneously or sequentially as convenient and expedient. Okay, so this is the non-destructive test. First is the destructive test and second one is the non-destructive test, expedient. Then next is the destructive test. Destructive tests, in many destructive tests require extensive machining or other preparation of the test specimens. Okay, preparation of the test specimens. Often massive precision testing machines are required. Okay, in consequence the cost of destructive testing may be very high and the number of samples that can be prepared and tested may make severe demand upon the time of highly skilled workers. Okay, upon the time of highly skilled workers. Then next is the non-destructive test. Non-destructive tests are like little or no specimen preparation is required for many forms of non-destructive test. Okay, then several forms of non-destructive testing equipment are portable. Many are capable of rapid testing or sorting, and in some cases may be made fully automatic. Okay, in this case, in some cases it may be made fully automatic, and the cost of non-destructive test is less as compared to the destructive testing, and in most of the cases both per object tested and the overall testing that the cost of adequate destructive test. So this is the non-destructive test. Then next is the destructive test. Like destructive tests are not usually convenient to apply to parts in service. Okay, generally service must be interrupted and the part permanently removed from the service. Okay, the service must be interrupted and the part permanently removed from the service. Then next is the non-destructive test may often be applied to in service parts or assemblies without interruption of service beyond normal maintenance or idle periods, and they involve no loss of serviceable parts. Okay, so this is the non-destructive test. Next is the destructive test. Destructive tests are like cumulative change over a period of time cannot readily be measured on a single unit, and if several units from the same lot or service are tested in succession over a period of time, it must be proven that the units were initially similar. Okay, it must be proven that units were initially similar. If the units are used in service and removed after various periods of time, it must be proven that each was subject to similar conditions of service before valid data can be obtained. Okay, before valid data can be obtained. Okay, then next is the non-destructive test. Like non-destructive test permits repeated checks of a given unit over a period of time. Okay, it gives a repeated checks of a given unit over a period of time in this non-destructive test, and in this way the rate of service damage, if detectable, and its correlation with service failure may be established clearly. Okay, may be established clearly. Then with destructive tests, like with parts of very high material or fabrication cost, the cost of replacing the parts destroyed may be prohibitive. Okay, the parts destroyed may be prohibitive, and acceptable parts of a very high material or fabrication costs are not lost in destructive testings. Okay, then it may not be feasible to make an adequate number and variety of destructive tests. Okay, and then repeated testing during the production or service is feasible when economically and practically justified in this non-destructive tests. And in comparison with the destructive test, with the parts of very high material or fabrication cost, the cost of replacing the parts destroyed may be prohibitive. Okay, and it may not be feasible to make an adequate number and variety of destructive tests. Okay, next, after the comparison of non-destructive and destructive testing, next is the quality of a product. Now what is quality? The totality of features and characteristics of a product or service that bear on its ability to satisfy stated or implied needs. Okay, it is conformance to the applicable specification. Okay, then fitness for intended use for the designed life, and next is the life of the product. Life of the product depends upon the design, raw material properties, that is the mechanical properties and the chemical properties as per the requirement. Okay, as per the requirement, then dimension, shape and finish. Okay, so this is the dimension, shape and finish. Then freedom from the defects, this is the quality. Then it is necessary to ensure that the product should be free from defects, so that product gives the trouble free service. Okay, so that the product gives the trouble free service, which is known as a reliability, Next is the premature failure of the equipment. Means earlier mature of the failure of the equipment. Okay, so these are the quality, like brittle failure of the equipment. This is the brittle failure of the equipment. Now what is the defect? Now we will observe that what is the defect. That is there any difference among the following terms, like defect, discontinuity, flaw, imperfection, inhomogeneities and fault. Okay, is there any difference among these terms, like defect and discontinuity, flaw and imperfection, okay, inhomogeneities and fault. Okay, so these are the difference among the following terms. Next is the discontinuity and defect. Discontinuity and defect is like group A, discontinuity, imperfection and inhomogeneities. This comes under the group A, and group B in defect, flaw and fault. Okay, next is the discontinuity. Discontinuity is like an intentional or unintentional interruption in the physical structure or configuration of a part. This is the discontinuity. Okay, then defect is like a condition or discontinuity having a size, shape, orientation, nature or location that impairs the useful service of a part, or that is rejectable according to the specification or standard. This is the defect. Okay, so it is necessary to ensure that all the products free from defects before it is put into the intended use. Okay, all the products must be free from defect before it is used into the intended, before it is put into the intended use. Now common application of NDT. Common application of NDT are like inspection of raw products, inspection following the secondary processing, okay, in services damage inspection, okay, in services damage inspection, then inspection of raw products like forging. NDTs are used for inspection of raw products like forging, casting and extrusions, okay. Then inspection following the secondary processing, inspection following the secondary processing like machining, welding, grinding, heat treatment and plating, okay. Inspection can be used for these terms also. Inspection following the secondary processing like machining, welding, grinding, heat treating and plating. Then next is the inspection for in service damage. Inspection for in service damage like cracking, okay, in service inspection of the products for in service damage like cracking of this hook. Here we can see that in the first image. Then corrosion, okay, corrosion and erosion wear, okay, corrosion and erosion wear. Then heat damage etc., okay, heat damage etc. These are the inspection for in service damage. Next it can be used for the wire rope inspection, okay. NDT methods can be used for the wire rope inspections like electromagnetic device and visual inspections are used to find the broken wires, okay. These are the broken wires. Then electromagnetic device and visual inspections are used to find the broken wires and other damage to the wire rope that is used in chairlifts, cranes and other lifting devices, okay, chairlifts, cranes and other lifting devices. Then next is the storage tank inspection. Storage tank inspection is like robotic crawlers use the ultrasound to inspect the walls of large above ground tanks and for the signs of thinning due to the corrosion, okay, for the signs of thinning due to the corrosions. So these are the robotic crawlers use the ultrasound to inspect the walls of the large above ground tanks for the signs of thinning due to the corrosion. This is the thinning of wall due to the corrosions. Next is the cameras. Cameras on long articulated arms. Cameras on long articulated arms are used to inspect the underground storage tanks for damage, okay. Underground storage tanks are there and cameras on large articulated arms are used to inspect the underground storage tanks for damage. Next is the most common part of or the product of the this visual testing. Most common part of the this NDT, that is the visual testing. Visual testing is the most basic and common inspection method, involves in using of human eyes to look for the defects, okay, to look for the defects. But now it is done by the use special tools such as videoscopes, magnifying glasses, mirrors, okay, and borescopes to gain the access and more closely inspect the subject area. Borescopes to gain the access and more closely inspect the subject area. This is the visual testing. Next is the visual testing equipments. Visual testing equipments like mirrors like especially the small and angled mirrors, okay. Then magnifying glasses, microscopes, that is the optical and electron, okay, microscopes, optical and electron, borescopes and fiber optic borescopes, okay, borescopes and fiber optic borescopes, and then the closed circuit television, that is the CCTV systems. These and videoscope, these are the visual testing equipments which are used, okay. These are the visual testing equipments which are used these days, okay, for the inspection of visual testing. Next is the visual inspection. Visual inspection is like most basic and common inspection method. This is the visual inspection testing. This is the most common and basic inspection method, like most basic and common inspection method. Tools include the fibroscope, borescope, magnifying glasses and mirrors. Magnifying glasses and mirrors. Then portable video inspection unit with zoom allows the inspection of large tanks and vessels, railroad tank cars, sewer lines. Okay, these are used for visual inspection. And then robotic crawlers permit the observation in hazardous or tight areas. Okay, robotic crawlers permit the observation in hazardous or tight areas such as air ducts, reactors, pipelines. Okay, air ducts, reactors and pipelines. Next is the standard for visual inspection. Standard for visual inspection is like welding equipment personnel should be familiar with relevant standards, rules and specifications applicable to the fabrication work to be undertaken. These are the welding inspection personnel, and it should be familiar with relevant standards, rules and specification applicable to the fabrication work to be undertaken, and this visual welding inspection personnel to be informed about the welding procedure to be used. Okay, the persons who are performing this welding inspections, these should be informed about the welding procedures which to be used, and it have the good vision that which should be checked after 12 months. Okay, it should have good vision which should be checked after every 12 months. Then next is the welding inspection. Welding inspections is like conditions for visual inspection, that is the to be BS EN 970, that is the illumination, and this is the 350 lux minimum required as per the ASME 1000 LUX, and it recommends the 500 LUX normal shop or office lighting. Okay, recommends 500 LUX normal shop or office lighting. Like, and in welding inspection, it should have a vision access, that eye should be within the 600 mm of the surface, and viewing angle, that is the line from the eye to surface, to be not less than 30 degree. Okay, so this is the eye, this is the 600 mm distance, and it is the eye is observing at an angle of 30 degree. Okay, eye is observing at an angle of 30 degree. Next is the welding inspection aids to the visual inspection. Okay, when access is restricted, it may be used as a mirrored borescope, that is the usually by the agreement, that is the mirrored borescope, and a fiber optic viewing system. Okay, fiber optic viewing system. Then other aids are like welding gauges. Welding gauges are like for checking the bevel angles, weld profile, fillet sizing, undercut depth. Okay, these are the other aids, like welding gauges for checking the bevel angles, weld profile, fillet sizing, undercut depth, dedicated weld gap gauges, and linear misalignment, that is the high-low gauges. Okay, then straight edges and measuring tapes, straight edges and measuring tapes. Then magnifying lens. Magnifying lens is like if magnification lens used, it should have magnification between x2 to x5. Okay, it should have magnification between x2 to x5. Then next are the welding inspector equipment. Welding inspector equipments are like measuring devices like flexible tape, steel rule, temperature indicating crayons, welding gauges, voltmeter, ammeter, magnifying glass, torch flashlight, and gas flow meter. Okay, gas flow meter. This is the welding inspector's equipment. Next, welding inspector is like stages of visual inspection to BS EN 930, and extent of examination and when required should be defined in the application standard or by agreement between the contracting parties. And for high integrity fabrications, inspection required throughout the fabrication process, and it is the before welding, before assemble and after assembly, during welding and after welding. So these are the welding inspection procedures for high integrity fabrications with welding, and inspection required throughout the fabrication process is like before welding, before this welding, before assemble and after assembly, during welding and after welding, during welding and after welding. Next are the typical duties of a welding inspector. Typical duties of the welding inspector are like before welding. Before welding is like preparation. Preparation is familiarization with relevant documents like application standard code for visual acceptance requirements, drawings, items details and position tolerance, etc. And then quality control procedures for activities such as material handling, documentation controls, storage and issue of welding consumables. Okay. Then quality plan inspection and test plan inspection checklist, that is the details of inspection requirements, inspection procedures and records are required. And then typical duties of a weld inspector before welding are welding procedures are applicable to joints to be welded and approved, okay, and are available to the welders and inspectors. Okay. Then welder qualifications. Welder qualifications are like list of available qualified welders related to WPS, that is the certificates are valid and in date. Okay. Then typical duties of a welding inspector before weldings are like equipment, all inspection equipment is in good condition and calibrated as necessary, and all safety requirements are understood or necessary equipment available, and materials used are like it can be identified and related to test certificates, traceability and are of correct dimensions and are in suitable condition, that is no damage, contamination. Then typical duties of a welding inspector before welding are like consumables in according with the welding inspector, okay, and are being controlled in accordance with the procedure of the weld preparations, okay, and then comply with the WPS drawing and free from defects and contamination, and then welding equipment in good order and calibrated as required by the procedure, as required by the procedure. Then typical duties of a weld inspector before welding are like fit up, that is the complies with WPS and number size of the tack weld to code or good workmanship. Then preheat, preheat is if supplied, if specified, preheat is if specified minimum temperature complies with WPS. Then typical duties of a weld inspectors are like during welding are weather conditions suitable if site field welding and welding processes like in accordance with WPS, and welder is approved to weld the joint, and preheat is like if required minimum temperature are specified by the WPS and maximum interpass temperature as WPS. Then typical duties of a weld inspector are like during welding is like welding consumables in accordance with WPS in suitable condition and controlled issue and handling, and then welding parameters are like current, voltage and travel speed as WPS and route runs if possible. Visually inspect route before single sided welds are filled up. Okay. Then during welding, inter-run cleaning in accordance with an approved method and back going to good workmanship standard, and distortion control like welding is balanced and over welding is avoided. This is for the during the welding. These are the typical duties of a welding inspector during the welding. Okay, so we will stop here for today and we'll continue in the next lecture. So thank you so much.